Director of the Center for Innovation in Traditional Industries at Kyoto Seika University. I am honored to be with you today. My presentation will aim to summarize the current state of Urushi lacquer in Japan. Just to note, I will be using the word Urushi when speaking about Japanese lacquer. First, there are two major categories of Urushi craft in Japan. One is for dishware and other household items, as well as decorative artworks. The other is for repair and the restoration of buildings that are designated traditional cultural properties. In this presentation, I will be focusing on the latter. In 2050, the Agency for Cultural Affairs in Japan determined that only domestically produced urushi will be used for all future repairs of buildings under the national designation of important cultural property or national treasure. 2.2 tons of domestically produced urushi is needed annually. However, at the moment, production sites are not able to meet this demand. Of the total amount of urushi currently being consumed in Japan, less than 2% are domestically produced, while dishware and other daily items rely heavily on imported lacquer from China. Imports can no longer be used for important cultural properties due to the new decision. Securing enough land to plant urushi trees is another critical issue. It takes about 50 years for an urushi tree to mature for harvest, and the total amount of urushi unrefined lacquer that can be tapped from a single tree is amount to 100 milliliters. Urban development has diminished the size of agricultural land, the expanded residential areas, making it difficult to plant new urushi forests to be cut down in 15-year cycles. To secure land for planting, it is necessary to receive support from the local administration. The protection of important cultural properties in Japan directly hinges on the establishment of an appropriate systems of production for sufficient yield of domestic lacquer in the future. To achieve this, it is vital to approach the challenge from a multidisciplinary perspective, examining relevant issues within the fields of urban development, national employment, and the maintenance of traditional industry as a whole. To harvest urushi, grooves are carved into the bark of the lacquer tree, and the sleeping sap are collected from the scards. This process is known as urushi kaki, literally lacquer scraping, and it was practiced in farming villages across Japan in the past, as this was seasonal work limited to the months between June and August. Farmers would often harvest urushi during their off-season as a means of earning supplemental income. In regions where urushi tapping thrived, urushi forests were planted around the farmland. The most common method of urushi tapping in Japan is to completely harvest the sap in one summer and cut down the tree. This is known as koroshikaki, from the word korosu meaning to kill. In post-war Japan, such as small yield was deemed insufficient for the amount of land and time it required and the labor-intensive nature of this work in the mountains, almost learning to the end of urushi kaki as a profession. Furthermore, because urushi trees can cause rashes upon contact, residents living near the area did not welcome the planting. In 2019, Japan imported a total of 34 tons of urushi, mostly from China, Korea, Taiwan, Vietnam, Thailand, and Myanmar are also among the primary sources. Additionally, small amounts are imported from Hong Kong, Singapore, and Switzerland. Self-sufficiency rate of urushi in Japan is below 5%. Domestically produced urushi in 2019 amounted to 1.9 tons. This is not sufficient to reach the goal of 2.2 tons needed for all repairs and conservation of important cultural structures in the country. Since the decision was made by the Agency of Cultural Affairs, efforts have been made to increase production and there has been a significant rise in yield. However, it is still not enough. Domestic urushi has fallen to a third of the total amount produced at its peak in 1918, which was 6.6 tons. Some production regions produce more than others, and Iwate Prefecture is the largest producer, yielding 1.3 tons. The reliance on imported urushi is not a recent development. A statistic from 1981 shows that 728 tons of urushi was imported and 30 tons produced domestically, resulting in a self-sufficiency rate of 4%. There is a long history of dependence on Chinese lacquer, and its quality has improved through partnerships with Japanese refineries. However, in recent years, Japan has been impacted by the rising cost of Chinese lacquer due to the country's developing economy and increased labor costs. as well as the aging population of workers and lack of success in the lacquer harvesting industry. Here, I would first like to talk about the primary producer of domestic urushi, Iwate Prefecture. Today, Ninohesti in Iwate Prefecture produced over 70% of domestic urushi, and it is harvested in a town called Joboji Machi. This is why urushi produced in Iwate is generally referred to as Joboji Urushi. In Joboji, urushi is harvested every year between mid-June to November. Urushi kaki workers in Joboji are considered to have become artisan when they can harvest about 75 kilograms of unrefined urushi from 500 urushi tree annually. Amongst urushi kaki practitioners, it is said that a drop of urushi is as valuable as a drop of blood. As this saying describes, the task is to carefully collect the sap drop by drop. There are about 30 urushikaki artisans in Joboji. They are responsible for harvesting the majority of domestically produced urushi. Today, movements have started in former urushi production sites to plant tree and harvest lacquer once again. As an example, I would like to introduce the case in the Tamba region of Kyoto Prefecture. Yakuno-cho is located in the northwestern part of Kyoto Prefecture and was known as one of the few production sites of Tamba urushi for many years. Due to its proximity to central Kyoto, a major site for lacquerware production, it supplied high-quality urushi. However, with modernization of the country after World War II, the urushi kaki industry in Tamba became obsolete. In order to preserve the skills passed down from predecessors, Tamba Urushi Production Cooperative was established in 1948 by men known as the last generation of urushi kaki artisans in Tamba. As a result, in 1991, Tamba urushi kaki was designated intangible folk cultural heritage by Kyoto Prefecture. Even then, for a time, there were no urushi kaki artisans in this region. In 2012, a non-profit organization called Tamba Urushi was established, and the revitalization of the industry regained momentum. Currently, 3 urushi kaki artisans work to plant and harvest urushi in this area. This program in turn can be divided into 4 main target areas. 1. Planting and maintaining urushi trees. This is to protect Urushi trees from wildlife damage over the course of 15 years while they mature. Securing land for planting is also a challenge. 2. Training the next generation of artisans. The aim is to pass down the skill unique to the Tamba region. Younger generations applying to work in the industry from outside the area cannot make a living solely from Urushi kaki. They require support to find supplemental work in agriculture or other fields. Currently, a government program to encourage migration to rural areas known as community reactivating cooperator squad is utilized in Tamba. Those who are eligible receive government subsidies for a 3-year term to migrate and aid in the local revitalization efforts. Thus far, there have been 2 former cooperators who have successfully become Urushi kaki artisans through the program. 3. Transmission of the cultural value domestic Urushi. Because Tamba Urushi is a non-profit, it operates with financial support from the government and the general public. Therefore, it is vital to widely publicize the importance of Urushi kaki as a valuable cultural asset of the region. 4. Procuring tools. The special metal tools and blades used in Urushi kaki were once made by traditional metalsmiths. This is another field experiencing difficulty finding successors and speaks of cooperation across different fields within craft. There are also similar projects currently underway in the village of Sonimura, Nara Prefecture. They aim to plant 200 trees every year and plan to begin harvest after 50 years. Finally, I would like to talk about the new possibility of Urushi. Colors are mixed into Urushi during the refinement process. The fresh sap of Urushi trees has a milky white color. When it comes into contact with the air, it oxidizes and turns brown. The traditional black color of lacquer is made from oxidizing the lacquer with iron powder. For reds and greens, pigments are mixed into the lacquer. In recent years, we find new Urushi colorways such as pastels, which are not part of the traditional palette. We see Urushi products, mostly tissue that is designed to suit contemporary lifestyles and settings. This trend plays a role in increasing awareness Urushi among a wide range of age groups. The antibacterial nature of Urushi has also garnered attention. According to research conducted by the Kyoto Lacquer Craft Cooperative and Research Institutions in Japan, it was found that a population of E. coli on Urushi lacquerware surface decreased over time and almost completely died out after 24 hours. This research scientifically proves the experiential knowledge of the people in Japan who have been using lacquerware for approximately 9,000 years, not only because of this durability and aesthetic beauty, but also because of its. Lastly, its cleanliness. Lastly, I would like to emphasize that the current state of Japan's Urushi industry is deeply tied to the maintenance of artisan culture and the natural environment required to produce Urushi and protect cultural properties, as it is rooted in the identity of each region. The movement to revitalize Urushi production sites can also be seen as a cultural activity of the respective locality. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.